any student that did not learn one or two skills now should have himself or herself to blame, because when you go to schools now, especially the secondary school and some primary schools, they've started learning skills now, because federal government incorporated skills acquisition to the school curriculum, and you find out that some schools have started implementing them now. Both public, I have seen a lot of people, students, learning how to make beads, learning how to make sew clothes, and learning how to do makeup. Some schools, when you go to some schools, you see them every Friday. They map out Fridays to learn these skills. Some start selling things, teaching the students, teaching the people on how to do sell things, buying and selling. Even in schools, you see them bringing out some clothing, some materials. Then their parents will come and buy them. All of them will just be there and be practicing how to sell and how to sell all these things, buy and sell all these things while in schools every Friday. I've also noticed that some students have started learning how to make beads. I've seen some of my nieces learning how to making beads for their friends, for the people around them, and they'll be collecting money from them, 300, 350, just to make beads. And the special thing is that they will make the beads and please make it in such a way that their names will appear on the bead. They will put their names on the bead, the name of the person that they're making the bead for. So it's a welcome development. It's a welcome thing. It's a welcome. See, find out that if maybe they pass through the 4 walls of primary and secondary schools, and if they've not maybe they don't want to go further, maybe yet, they can use that skills they've learned to be fetching food on their table, without depending on their parents. Even now, that my niece that is still in school, see her making beads. 11:30, she's still awake making beads for some students or for people that told her to make the beads for, and she'll see her collecting 350, 400 for them. So see her, that seriousness in her, even to the extent that she's even teaching other people on how to make that bead. So this thing is a very good thing, because a lot of graduates that have graduated without having one skill or the other, or maybe didn't see white collar job or were not gainfully employed, find it difficult to cater for themselves or to fetch food on the table. So because of these skills, and some of them even go ahead to learn all these things after graduating, after serving without seeing a job, they go ahead to pay for it and start learning it. And this is what the government have incorporated into the school for them to start learning it while in school. So if any student that didn't learn one or two skills have himself or herself to blame, because there is a lot of things to learn. So one thing you have to do is just to put your mind there and learn it, because I have seen a lot of them utilizing what they are learning in school, practicing it, and also using it to make money. Now, this period now, using it to make money, I have seen it with my eye and see her making good money, 350, 400. See them, a lot of them telling her to make. So it is a very good thing. So any student that did not learn one or two skills before he or she finishes the secondary or primary education to have himself or herself to blame. Secondly, the rate at which school fees is high now is alarming, because it's not all parents that can afford it. Primary schools, secondary schools, both primary and public schools, all their school fees are very, very high. Education is very, very expensive now, and education is, especially from the primary level, is the basic foundation. So education from the primary level shouldn't be all that high, so that all level of parents can afford it. Because if it's high, not all parents can afford it. It's not all education free. It's not all education, very different states are free. So try as much as you can. Maybe the Ministry of Education and all the bodies concerned should try as much as they can to make this education to make it affordable for all parents, all level of parents, even if it's free education. Because if it's free education, the school uniform they will get from the schools is not all that easy to get. The school fees, the books, is not also easy. At times, when you go to schools, the books, maybe if you have a child that have passed through primary 1 or entering into primary 2, and you have another one that is entering into primary with the same one, they may not use the same book. They may not use the same book because they'll be asked to buy a fresh book entirely. Why the one maybe they bought for the one that is going into primary 2 will become a waste. So that kind of a thing, even parents finding it difficult to cater for that, to start buying books when they have a child that have just passed through that level of class, and they can't use the same book his or her brother used. So it's not really good. School fees is expensive too. School fees is very, very expensive. To pay for even school uniform is also expensive. if you are entering from JS3 to SX1, even if it's in public school, you spend up to 75 to 80,000 just for school fees and school uniform. 75 to 80,000 just for school fees and school uniform. Public schools, not talk of private schools. And again, every section, schools are paying 100 to 100 plus, up to 100 plus, especially private schools up to 100 plus. Some are paying 150, 160 every section. So for the third 3 terms, for 1 year, for 1 year now, they will be paying up to 300 or even 400 for each student. If you have up to 2 or 3 students in that school, you'll be paying up to 1 million for school fees alone, for school fees and school uniform alone. So it's not really encouraging, because education is getting higher now, and a nation that doesn't have an educated youth will not grow. Because even if the primary education and the secondary education is the basic education that's supposed to be given to all child, even because you can enter into secondary after your primary secondary education. You may even forget not to enter university. You still make it. You still be sound, because that is the basic. So let there be a level of education. Let there be a level whereby every parent can afford that. Every parent can afford that. So the Ministry of Education and all bodies concerned should make it affordable for all parents, because it's getting higher and higher and higher. It's not the book that your child used in the primary one. Anyone that is entering into the same level of primary may not use it again. You have to buy a fresh book entirely. Thirdly, it happens that primary schools are still on strike. Since last year, they will go back on strike again. It is not really good. If primary schools is on strike, if secondary school and university educations are still on, they're not on strike, why should primary school be on strike? The level of retention for primary students is very, very low. Whatever you teach them today, tomorrow they may not even remember it. Maybe if the school is not steady, they may even forget all these things, with a lot of play and all the rest. And if parent doesn't have money to enroll his or her child in private lessons, which means before the school resumes, they might have forgotten everything that was taught. So all bodies concerned should try as much as they can to look into this and let the primary school students go back to school, because especially the public schools are on strike, not the private schools. I don't know any other state, but for Abuja, public schools are still on strike. I don't know what really happened, but all bodies concerned should try as much as they can to look into this and let them go back to, because they have played enough since last year. They've been on strike. So what is the body concerned doing about this? So let them try as much as they can to look into this and let things normalize again, because I don't see the reason why primary schools should be on strike. Primary schools should be on strike, while secondary and university are not on strike. So try as much as you can to look into this. My name is Ngozi, your product manager, financial advisor, and chartered risk manager. See you, and God bless you.